It's time for a real American toy convention. Yes, folks, that's right. It's that time of year again, JoeFest 2025. And many thanks to my operative in the field, Jon Compulsive Collector. Please go check out his YouTube and Instagram in the comments below. Without him, this video wouldn't be possible, so sit back just like Elric of Melniboné here on your throne. Grab some snacks you can ale and peasant or mead and boar if you wish, as we look at JoeFest 2025. By far and away, my most popular video on my channel in 2024, we are back for some more action in 2025. Yo Joe! And here's a life-size Zartan and upscaled 3.75-inch 80s. G.I. Joe figure in life-size form mingling with the guests. I always wanted Zartan as a kid in the 80s, and now I have the classified version, my favourite line to collect. And as we can see already from the video footage I've shown so far, JoeFest isn't just about G.I. Joe or military-based toy lines, as we saw Elric of Melniboné part of the Savage Crucible wave of action figures. And if you like your mythic legions or sword and sorcery, those Savage Crucible will fit right into that world in your collection. And they are meant to be outstanding figures. These pics show the Savage Crucible figures in action, and Elric of Melniboné certainly looks impressive watching all the activity of JoeFest on his red throne. And here's some of the Savage Crucible figures battling Fire and Ice Dark Wolf and sticking with Frank Frazetta. We get a look at the Death Dealer action figure at JoeFest. You could probably pit Elric of Melniboné against the Death Dealer in your toy photography. And speaking of toy photography, we've got plenty to see in this video from JoeFest, so sit back and relax. And we go from the likes of Elric of Melniboné, a character first introduced in the 1961 novel The Dreaming City, who relies on powerful magic to survive and a cursed sword, to Frank Frazetta's Death Dealer, which is based on a 1973 fantasy painting, to Savage Crucible Wave 2, and my gosh, if you like sword and sorcery, these figures are absolutely stunning looking. I mean, these really are works of art in action figure form. We talked about Frank Frazetta paintings. These characters could live in that world, and they look absolutely beautiful. The diorama that's been built for JoeFest looks absolutely fantastic as well. The skull pillars holding up the stone ceiling are a really nice touch. There seems to be a really nice mix of monster and barbarian in this line. A lot of the figures from Wave 1 seem to be creature focused, whereas here we seem to get a nice selection of barbarians. And you can see Wave 2 of Savage Crucible in episode 68 of Flicks and Figs, which is up on the channel now. So it's great to see them here at JoeFest in what I assume is prototype form. Now, I'm personally more of a 1/12 fantasy military collector, but I can definitely appreciate these characters and this fantasy lore from afar. Let me know in the comments if you have any Savage Crucible figures in your collection. I know they are meant to be fantastic, and from the barbarian characters shown here, we go to the creature elements of Savage Crucible with a look at lizard warriors and the like. The paint apps on the skin tones and armour are absolutely beautiful. Just like mythic legions, these figures are works of art in action figure form. And a line that you could mix into your Savage Crucible collection are the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom by Sparrow Toys, shown here at JoeFest. And these are some excellent action figures. I have a few of these from their Kickstarter, and I can say in hand they have really smooth joints and all the articulation you would want from a modern action figure. And I have got a video review on Animal Warriors of the Kingdom on my channel. I'll drop a link in the comments below. And as you can see from this JoeFest content, lots of anthropomorphic animals as warriors, which could fit right into a Savage Crucible battle scene in your toy photography. And look at these skeletons with assault rifles. Something tells me we are about to enter Operation Monster Force territory. This is a line both myself and Jon are huge fans of. And Bill, the creator of the line, is a really cool guy from what I've seen so far, and these will be available at TAKTAK Toys here in the UK, although they sell out fast, so grab them whilst you can. Emporium of Cool also import them in OK, so let's talk Operation Monster Force. So as you can probably see, there are a lot of Wave 1 around what looks like an upcoming vehicle. Now Bill has mentioned that if the line does well, a vehicle would be an option, and it looks like they are considering it. So Wave 2 is also looking fantastic. With General Brown and the troops, I'm in for some zombie troops and the Phantom Corps. To be honest, I could happily go all in for Wave 2. The modern military aesthetic to me is even more appealing than Wave 1 that had more of a First World War vibe with some of the troops. But I've still got loads of classified to buy. What a time to be a collector. So if you're enjoying the coverage of JoeFest 2025 so far, let me know in the comments below. I'm really intrigued by what Acid Rain will be offering us in 1/12 scale, and the Operation Monster Force stuff is my absolute jam. I think Wave 2 is my all-time favourite wave. So far, again at the point of this video, they are available to pre-order at TAKTAK Toys, and of course Fresh Monkey Fiction aren't just working on Operation Monster Force, but also Order of the Crimson Moon. Now I'm hoping to get these to bolster my G.I. Joe classified Crimson forces led by Tomax and Zamet. Although the Crimson hooded characters could be the real masterminds in the background pulling the strings, and Soldiers of Fortune, which essentially is the make your own adventure line of figures, drawing inspiration from Secret Agent and Adventure Team antics. And as I mentioned, Operation Monster Force, Soldiers of Fortune and Order of the Crimson Moon is all available to pre-order at TAKTAK Toys right now. Again, thanks to Jon Compulsive Collector for all this wonderful video content and footage. It's like we are there at JoeFest thanks to him. So in the Operation Monster Force cabinet here, there are two exclusives, the Declan Van Helsing in the front row in the middle in the Black Ops type gear, and the one next to him wearing the green beret. Again, thanks to Jon for all the coverage. Stay tuned to the channel in the future for reviews of Operation Monster Force. And here's a look at the Operation Monster Force booth again, which we saw in the video footage from Jon. That Gridiron Studios vehicle in Operation Monster Force certainly does look impressive. I also wouldn't mind a restock of the Kilwog Werewolf with the minigun. Hopefully more of those come about in a re-release in the future or a new version. And here's a look at the upcoming Cops line from Fresh Monkey Fiction, which is based on the Cops cartoon. Now, if you like the look of this line here in the UK, contact TAKTAK Toys and let me know you want these figures stocked at TAKTAK. The pre-order is available on Big Bad Toy Store. Bulletproof here is the leader of Cops fighting crime in a future time. It's essentially a 90s cartoon where every cop was a specialist and the bad guys were a kid of cyberpunk and 20s gangsters. I'm the boss round here, see? That type of thing. Cops was essentially RoboCop meets G.I. Joe. It was a fun cartoon. And speaking of fun cartoons, if you want some figures to sit alongside your Masterverse, based on Masters of the Universe, both Revelation and the 80s cartoon and toy line, Brutal Realm can live in that world. And a Brutal Realm animation would be quite fun. So they have built a lovely diorama and display to showcase these figures. I get the impression that JoeFest is a convention by toy designers who are collectors first. Almost a convention by collectors for collectors. And we don't really have anything similar in the UK, unfortunately. But speaking of great collectors who build community spirit, let's have some shout-outs. Thanks again massively to Jon Compulsive Collector. Without his help, this video wouldn't even be possible. So please check out his Instagram and YouTube. Check out Dan, who reviews for all the latest Marvel Legends news and reviews. And of course, Joe's and Juice, as it's Yo Joe June. Miguel and the Will Wolf Pack Toy Review. Mikey Moon Boots, Cole's Cave, Virtual Dave 26, all on Instagram, and Tom Mini Plastic Multiverse. Pete, aka Space on the Shelf, here on YouTube. Jay's Toy Collection UK MS. Of course, TAKTAK Toys, which is the UK stockist for Operation Monster Force, Soldiers of Fortune and Order of the Crimson Moon, and also Emporium of Cool, and all these great YouTubers and UK independent action figure retailers. So we saw the Ramen Toys booth there at JoeFest with the Aces of Aviation, which feature in episode 68 of Flicks and Figs, and the Marshal and his horse 3-0. And here's a look at a life-size O-ring style battle android trooper. These look fun. I wouldn't mind a life-size ring big boa to guard my house. And then we get a look at a booth called Reagan Spoon Toys, which seems to do various headcasts for both 3.7, 5-inch and 6-inch scale figures. By the looks of things, very cool. Again, this is something really nice to see independent or smaller toy makers really getting a chance to shine at a convention like JoeFest. And then from there, let's have a bit of a tour of the convention floor and some of the booths. Now, I believe this is the Operation Recall booth, which was a Kickstarter at first, I believe. It's essentially an original character line of O-ring figures. So if you like your O-ring figures, these can bolster your ranks, and I think they are supposed to be pretty good. Lots of promo artwork from the line on display there. And then a quiet tour of the convention floor. You can probably see the Spiro Toys booth and Animal Warriors of the Kingdom in the background, and Delta 17 booth again. Another O-ring line of figures that are meant to be very good. I'd love some 1/12 versions. And John may not be aware of this, but he's managed to catch a few YouTubers and names in the toy community on camera here. So there's Big Dub in the black t-shirt with his back to us and the orange lanyard. And the Toy Federation booth with Billy Galaxy. That's the guy in the cowboy hat. Toy Federation has an awesome YouTube channel with uploads every Saturday, and I'll leave a link in the comments below. And Billy Galaxy is a retro toy collector who's friends with Toy Shop on tour, and Jonathan Ross here in the UK. Jonathan Ross is an avid toy collector, I bet you didn't know that. And John managed to capture a pic of Mega J Retro near the Operation Monster Force booth in a blink, and you will miss it, moment. Toy YouTubers in the wild. So I don't know if you spotted him. He had a black t-shirt and red lanyard. This is becoming less JoeFest, and where's Waldo for my American pals? Or where's Wally here in the UK? Or where's YouTuber? So let's get back to business. And next we go to Grindhouse Toys, which are essentially doing a 1/18 scale soldiers and zombies horror type line in O-ring. Again, I'd personally love to see these in 1/12 scale. The boxes for these look like old video store rental boxes like Blockbuster Video. That's a nice touch. And that rotating diorama with the soldier on it looks ace. Right, and from there, the life-size O-ring bat wants to draw our attention to Roboskull and the upcoming 6-inch figures for this line, which was a Kickstarter. Now, I have a few of these on pre-order, and so does Tom Mini Plastic Multiverse, and we have been discussing them in the past. I can't wait to get these and do a video on them. They are taking some time to arrive as collectors have the 3.75-inch versions in hand, but I have a feeling these will be well worth the wait. And I'll do a video once I have these in hand. So there we go, Loop. That's my JoeFest 2025 video. All thanks to Jon Compulsive Collector for being my cameraman throughout JoeFest. Now we might get some more JoeFest content, which I'll add to Flicks and Figs 69 if so. But John might need some rest, and I don't blame him. He's worked really hard here. So hats off to him. The JoeFest 2024 video is still my most popular video on my channel to date, with over 11,000 views last time I checked. So hopefully you've enjoyed this tour of JoeFest 2025. I'm intrigued by the 1/12 Acid Rain figures, but there's so much to see here that honestly, it looks like a weekend isn't enough. I think there's so much stuff I'd buy if I was local to this convention. But let me know in the comments, did you go to JoeFest 2025? Have you watched other YouTube content on JoeFest 2025, and what did you think? Let me know in the comments below, and until next time, enjoy those flicks and figs. And joeing is all the battle.